Harry, today's topic is pain, right? Physical pain, emotional pain, and so forth. But what do you think? Is pain a good thing or a bad thing?
I saw a book one time. It says, "Thank God for pain," and so that's weird. But yeah, no, actually, pain is one of the greatest gifts from God, both physically and spiritually, emotionally, and so on. But let's touch on the physical pain first for a bit. You just messed up your ankle the other day, right?
Yeah, I did. I ended up hurting it pretty bad.
Yeah. So, did you enjoy the pain?
Of course not. It hurt.
Were you, when you reflect on this topic, are you grateful for that pain?
Yes, I am grateful for the pain after coming into pondering it for a little bit more and more. I actually ended up thanking God later on.
Yeah. And you were just telling me that as you go forward with this ankle, that after a while you'll be able to do an hour's worth of X work or walking, and then
Mm, yeah, and then eventually it'll heal over time, right? The whole
yeah.
aspect is that it's a process, right? But after an hour, like you're saying, you get that initial pain, and your body tells you got to relax again and lay
Yeah.
down or stop doing physical work again.
Yes. Yeah. And even they have, even children growing up, they say that if children didn't have any pain, very few of them would survive because they would never stop hurting themselves and jumping off of
Yeah.
this or that. And they have no idea, but the pain teaches them very quickly to be careful. So we train our body with the pain that we get. We don't touch hot stoves, we don't do this, we don't do that, we watch where we fall and where we trip and all those things. And yeah, so we learn how to deal. It's a gift from God. I think it's just really fantastic how that all works.
But
And then
Harry,
we yeah.
what about the spiritual aspect of pain? How is that a blessing?
Yeah, and that is the emotional pain that comes our way, like if we have people insult us or have hurt us, we say, okay, what's that all about? Some of it is tests, okay, that come our way, also how we treat others, but
Mhm.
also the aspect of if we have a pain in our heart and so on, and just stressed out. Actually, I read a book once, and it says minister, don't counsel, and that was one of the more interesting books I've ever read. And it's about when people are in a mess, instead of trying to work their way through this mess, well, who said this and who did that and all that, just give them the gospel. And the aspect is that when we receive the gospel, then we change the way we see things and view things from a God perspective, and we start walking with God in the nature of that. If God lives in us, then it changes how we behave, but also changes how we receive behavior from others. People insult us. Well, not a big deal if we're a Christian. If we're not a Christian, that really crushes us and those kind of things. We expect poor behavior from others if we're a Christian, but we expect none of it from ourselves. Well, not saying we never do, but that's not the point. The point is that emotional pain is devastating, but if we come to a good place with the Lord, emotional pain doesn't own us anymore. We now can
Yes.
we swim in that. Okay, we get above that. Just like our physical pain, we learn how to navigate. We don't wreck ourselves up. We go careful, we go easy, we know where we can go and what we can't do and so on. And
Yeah.
God gives us this compass how to avoid the landmines of life, and
Walk
to
with him.
show
Yeah.
comfort to others, and to help them to understand that there is a less painful journey. If you see people like the Apostle Paul, he went through all kinds of trauma, but he lived through it joyfully. He didn't enjoy the pain per se, but he enjoyed the journey, and the pain was just part of the storms of life. You walk through a storm outside. If you're dressed for it, you can handle it, and that's how. And when we are Christians, when we have that, then we're dressed for the storm, and so people insult us or this or that. Well, it's part of it. You just get used to it. You accept that, and you learn how to navigate through
And you
that.
know
And
what's another one, Harry, is a lot of people start seeking for truth when they're in pain, right? Like,
Yeah.
Matthew 5 verse 3 says this: blessed are those who are poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So like, you come to the realization that you are in pain and in dire need of God, and you start seeing this, all this pain around you in this
Right.
world and your broken heart. You start seeking greater truth. I know that's what got me into all of this at the certain time. Was it's not because life was going amazing or it was all good. I had a lot of pain in a physical, not in a physical way, but in an emotional way
Yeah.
as well. And
Yeah.
then I called out to the Lord. So even from that aspect, it's a blessing as well.
Yeah, it's a gift that way, isn't it? Yeah, because all the way through, like the struggles, we never, when we're at the top of the mountain, we don't go looking for God. But when we're going through a valley experiences, and just like your physical pain, when we're going through difficulties, we say, "Well, I got to be more careful there, or got to do this differently in the future, or whatever." And but things do happen. We get hurt physically, we get hurt emotionally, but we but good care, and we get through it. Like, you break a leg, you put a splint on it, those kind of things, a cast on them, those kind of things, you learn how to deal with it. And when there's problems in our home life, our spiritual life, all those things, we recognize that as a gift from God, and he's talking to us, he's telling us, yeah, learn something here, and try to avoid these holes the next time, these pitfalls. And just, yeah, I don't know. It's just a really, I find it a really interesting topic. I think it's one of the greatest gifts. It's not maybe a real spiritual topic, but it can be. And it just trying to think it through. Pain, it's a gift from God. It gets into it. It makes us want to be in a better place. We want to get past the pain, and we want to find a better way and to protect ourselves from it. And the gospel does do that. Walking with God, it dulls the pain, and we learn to be stronger, and yeah, and
More
wiser.
Christ-like. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess, the best way to end it is thank God for pain.
Yeah, that's right. It's a gift from him.
Amen.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Harry.